In this tutorial, we will use AppLab to create an ordering system. As part of the process, we will learn how to use drop-down menus. We will be able to add items to these menus using an additional screen, and we will also have the app using text-to-speech in order to speak what has been ordered. It's always important to test your apps when you've made them, so I'm going to give this app a test. When I load it up, it gives me the option of male and female. I'll leave it on female at the moment. And I'm going to choose 12-inch and pepperoni. And we can see I want a 12-inch pepperoni pizza, has appeared here. And I'm going to select some extra onions to go with that. If I click on this green Shout My Pizza Order button, it should speak the text of what I want to order. On this particular version of the app, this does not seem to be working. And if I go full screen and press F12 to have a look at what's happened, this is as a result of the audio context not being allowed to start. And this is because this is a downloaded version of the app. So hopefully it will work fine when we have an on-screen version and possibly when we download to a phone. I'm going to test some of the other options here. If I click Reset Extras to None, then the extras have disappeared. If I click on Add More Pizza Options, then I get to go here, and I'm going to try typing in a different type of pizza, like a Neapolitan, and click to add this to the list. I can see it's been added here, and we'll see whether it adds to the main list. Sizes, I'm going to choose deep pan to add to my size list, and it's added here, but again we'll see whether it becomes part of the drop down menus. So I'm going to click back to ordering system, and I'm now going to try changing to a deep pan. Now notice when I chose deep pan it did not change the size here, so that's a problem that needs to be fixed. And I'm going to swap to a Hawaiian, and when I chose Hawaiian it did pick up the size, the deep pan size, which I have here. And then again if I click on Shout, we're getting no sound because of the audio context problem. So I need to fix when I change sizes that it allows it to change the pizza I want. And one more thing to check is if I try to type directly into this box, you can see that it's not letting me. This is a read-only box, so I have to always add from here. If I click add again, I'm getting two of the same pizza, and that's something that I might want to add some code to prevent from happening. There should only be one example of a pizza name in our list. So that's the testing sorted out. What we're going to do now is to start to put together an app just like this in AppLab on code.org. I'm going to go to Create, AppLab, and then I'm going to start to lay out my application. So the first thing I want to have is some buttons to choose between male and female voices for reading out. So I'm going to take a radio button and I'm going to drop it on here up at the top. I'm going to call that one Radio Button Male. And I'm going to make it part of the group called Radio Group Gender. Now all of the buttons that are in Radio Group Gender will act as one group, and when we click on one it will pop out any of the others from the same group. Just to make it a bit easier to see, I'm going to crank up the size to 40 by 40. And beside that I'm going to put a label, and the label is going to say male. So I'm going to call it label male. Always remember that you should rename your widgets that you drag onto the screen when you put them on there. Do that straight away, you won't forget. Okay, I'm going to add maybe a bit of size to that. So the font size is going to be maybe, let's go for 24. And then I'm going to choose the radio button mail and duplicate it. And that's a good way of making sure it's the exact same size for the next button. I'm going to call it radio button female. And it's also part of group gender, which means that it will work in cooperation with the other button. Now, one of the things I'd like to do, this is going to be a pizza ordering system. So I would like to maybe change the color scheme. Let me just duplicate and create a button for, or a label for female. And call that label female. It's a bit too big to fit on, so perhaps I need to reduce the size of these buttons a little bit. Maybe take them down to 24 as well. So my font size and my button sizes are now matching up. And then the same here, take that down to 24, take this down to 24. And we can then stick the word female beside that if we give it some extra width. Okay, so I want to change the appearance of things, and I could go and choose colors and set things like backgrounds and so on, but actually I can choose a theme, and I can choose one that suits a pizza ordering app. And I think ketchup and mustard, so that looks like cheese on tomato sauce, is a good choice for this. Maybe a little bit of adjustment of positioning. And then we have our radio buttons at the top of the screen. Now I'm going to put a button down to the bottom here, and I want to test out and check that it can do my voices. So the button here is going to be button shout order, and what it's going to say on it is shout my pizza order. I'm going to stretch the width of that to 300. 300 is a good size for anything you want to go all the way across the screen. Just gives it a bit of a margin on either side, but fills the screen. And I'm going to change the background color. And because this is a go button, this is the button that allows you to actually start the process, I'm going to make it green for go. Okay, so I have my radio buttons and I have my shout my pizza order. Now for the moment, I'm going to test out the speech capabilities of this app just with a fake version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the code view. So I'm going to click on my button shout order. I'm going to go to events and I'm going to insert and show code. And you can see that that's added in an on event button shout order click handler, which at the moment just puts button shout order clicked into the console. So what I'm going to add here is something that doesn't actually appear in the AppLab controls, but it is functionality that will work behind the scenes. I'm going to go into show text here, and I'm going to come to the end of my console log instruction, go after the semicolon and press enter to make myself a new space, and I'm going to say play, and notice it comes up with play sound and play speech. So I actually want to choose play speech. Play speech needs to have the text that you're going to say, the gender of the speaker, and the language that they are speaking in. And you can see I've got examples I could use, but I know what I'm doing here, so I'm going to click on play speech. The text I'm going to say is give me a pizza. and I'm going to put a comma, and then my options are female or male, and I'm just going to choose male to start with, and then a comma, and then I'm going to choose English UK as the language it uses. And it's very important at the end of each line that you also have a semicolon. So that's a key part of JavaScript language. If I switch back into show blocks, it seems happy with that. So I'm going to run my code. Things I'm going to test out. If I click on male, it gets a dot there. If I click female, it will pop that out. I can only have one of this gender group chosen at a time. If I click on shout my order,
give me a pizza,
then it did say give me a pizza. I'm not sure whether that will have turned up in the recording. So that seems to be fine. Now, the reason I've got the male and the female there is because we want to choose the kind of voice it's going to create. So I'm going to go here to control, and with these blue blocks, I'm going to put in an if. Now the question I'm going to ask is button male being checked or ticked at the moment? So I need to make a comparison. And to make a comparison, we go to maths and we use a double equals. The double equals is the equality operator to test whether two values are equal. So I'm going to put that in there so that I can compare two things. And the things I'm going to compare is, I'm going to get the property. So I'm going to get the property of radio button male. And I don't want the width of it, I want the checkedness of it, whether it's been checked or not. And if that checked is true, then I want to use a male voice. But if it's not true, then it must be ticked to female because I can only have one or the other. So if I click on plus here, I've got an else, and then I'm going to make the same kind of thing here. And actually play speech does appear as an option. So I'm going to say play speech, and obviously if it was a female, it should be much more polite. It would be, can I have a pizza please? And that's going to be female and then English. Notice English rather than English UK appearing there. Not sure if it'll make a difference. Let's try it and see. So I'm going to click on run. I'm going to click on female and shout my pizza order.
Can I have a pizza, please?
And that was a female voice saying, can I have a pizza, please? And if I click to male, it pops out female. And that was a male, give me a pizza. So our app is using logic to decide between the different voices, and the button is triggering the choice of what to play. So that's us started to create our pizza ordering app. And in the next section, we will have a look at how to make the lists as drop downs and to change the information that's in those lists.